Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Tough Talks Made Easier. My name is Bonnie Brooks Dudley, and I'm a communication and conflict coach with over 20 years of experience as a small business owner and plenty of experience navigating difficult conversations at work and at home. I created this session because, let's face it, difficult conversations are a part of life. Whether it's addressing a performance issue, and I had plenty of those when I owned my home care agency. I had over 50 employees that were working full time. Performance was sometimes an issue. Setting a boundary, which those conversations happened a lot at the home care agency as well. Not only setting boundaries with my client, with the caregivers, but also with clients, or clearing up a misunderstanding. These talks can bring up anxiety, hesitation, sometimes regret. I don't know about you, but after a tough conversation, I replay the loop over and over again. Oh, I should have said this. I shouldn't have said that. Well, a past conversation is just that. It's in the past. With the right mindset and tools, you can handle future conversations with more confidence and less stress. So let's get going, right? I promised you 3 tools, and we're going to start though with a question. What's one conversation you've been avoiding or wish had gone better? Think about it. How did that conversation make you feel? Nervous, angry, frustrated, unsure of what to say? Those are all completely normal reactions. But we're going to shift the energy today. So tool number 1, I'm going to ask you to remember 2 calming questions. And they kind of piggyback on each other. First, before you ask them, I want you to take a moment to center yourself with some deep breaths. Get some more oxygen to the brain and slow the heart rate down. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want from this conversation? And what's more important, the relationship or the situation? Now, only you can answer those questions. What outcome do you want? And what's more important, the situation or the relationship? Asking yourself these questions before the conversation, it gets your brain out of that emotional reactive mode and into the more intentional responsive mode, right? Let's face it, your brain just can't be emotional and logical at the same time. So let's shift from emotion to purpose. Instead of thinking, "Oh, I have to confront them," try, I want to resolve a pattern that's affecting our work. See how that shifts from emotion to purpose? Try, instead of they're being difficult, they never listen. Try, I want to understand where they're coming from and work toward a solution. When you know your goal, you can keep the conversation anchored even when emotions rise. Tool 2. I've worked on this framework and I've used it for years. I created the think framework, right? So it's a simple way to filter what you're about to say. Think, is it tactful, right? Are you using the words and tone of voice that is going to move you closer to a positive outcome, right? So I loved Winston Churchill saying, tact is the ability to tell someone to go to hell in such a way as to make them look forward to the trip. So using your words and your tone of voice and your nonverbal body language to get your point across in the best way. H is an honest, right? Are you being honest with yourself that this conversation even has to happen? Are you being honest with them? Remember, there's a difference between honesty and being harsh. I, does it align with your integrity? Integrity is the values that drive your decisions and your actions. So, is it true to your integrity, your character? And is it necessary? Sometimes it's best to keep scrolling. There's no need to comment on every action, every opinion, every comment on social media. K is for kind. It's always best to say things with kindness. Be genuine. Have it come from the heart. So putting all your conversations through the think framework, it's going to really set you up for success. You don't have to fit all 5 every time, but it's pretty easy to do actually once you get started, once you get practice. So for example, I noticed you've been late to our Monday calls. Can we talk about what's going on? It's tactful, it's honest, it reflects my integrity, it was necessary, and it was kind. All right, on to tool number 3, the trust building mindset shift. This is where you aim for clarity, not control, and you seek to understand, not to win. In other words, you invite dialogue rather than debate. When you go into a conversation with the mindset of proving your point or debating, you often lose the opportunity to connect, right? To learn more. However, when you approach the conversation seeking mutual understanding through dialogue, people are more likely to listen and respond positively. So try using I language instead of you accusations. I'm concerned about instead of you never. Practice curiosity, even when it's hard. Help me understand where you're coming from. Or I'm curious. I'd love to learn your perspective on this situation. Use the words that fit your personality, but I'm sure you get my drift. And you want to listen to understand rather than to respond. Let the person finish speaking. Take a breath or two, and then summarize what they said with a genuine desire to understand the underlying issue, which is usually not what's on the surface. Okay. So if I understood you correctly, you've been late to work so often lately because you've been taking your son to school. Now you're learning more. And then brainstorm ways to resolve the issue. Stay open minded and willing to problem solve the issue. How do you think we can move forward? Your work still needs to get done and you need to put in the hours, but maybe we can adjust the hours or maybe reduce some of your lunch break, right? I'm sure we can come up with a way that gets what we both need, right? So these simple shifts, they increase psychological safety in the conversation for both you and your conversational partner. And that's where trust grows. So to recap, your 3 tools: the calling questions, what outcome do I want? And what's more important, the relationship or the situation. 2, root your interactions in the think framework by asking yourself, am I being tactful and honest? Am I demonstrating integrity? Is this feedback truly necessary? And am I delivering it with kindness? And then, of course, number 3, the mindset shift. Focus on clarity and connection through open dialogue rather than controlling and blaming through debate. So now I want you to think back to that conversation you had in mind earlier. Which tool could help you approach it differently, right? I'd love to share, for you to share it with me. If this session resonated with you and you want to go into deeper communication, confidence, or conflict resolution, I'd love to stay connected. You can visit brookscoaching.us to learn more about my work. And then right on the resources page, you can join the meetup groups, you can join the community where I have some discussions and events and some courses for you to take, or you can just you can, oh, that's also where you can check out my books or book a one-to-one coaching session, right? Or just shoot me a message at bonnie@brookscoaching.us. I answer them all. So remember, you don't have to be perfect. Everything will work out if you just keep working it out. Thanks for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.